Hey everyone, welcome to part 2 of my Gabriel Knight Sins of the Fathers playthrough. Last week we started up, finished day 1, got a little ways into day 2. We'll pick up there tonight, see how far along we can get. So far we are learning a lot about voodoo. We're learning a lot about snakes. We're learning a lot about voodoo murders. Getting to meet our new friend, Detective Mosley. We have sort of behaved inappropriately with most women we've met, with the exception of Gabriel Knight's grandmother. It's going great. Yes, and I've moved to the other side of the screen just to mix things up. And I'm shooting at a slight angle for some reason. Everything is a complete mess tonight, so that's extra fun. I'm also, just because, I don't know, I don't really have a great reason, we'll just say just because, going to add a fun, maybe awful element to tonight's stream. That is, I have picked up some very hot jelly beans. Specifically, I've picked up, I think they're Bean Boozled Fiery 5 Challenge beans in flavors like Sriracha, Jalapeno, Cayenne, and Carolina Reaper. And I think what I'm going to do tonight is set up a system whereby I will eat some of these beans live on camera and then suffer whatever consequences may follow. So let me turn on my bean thermometer. What I thought I would do as a way to support the channel and make this extra fun is I have some beans listed here, the 5 flavors: Sriracha, Jalapeno, Cayenne, Habanero, Carolina Reaper. By pledging some channel points, those come free just from watching alone, and also bits for some of the spicier ones. I will eat one of these on camera and you can watch me suffer and cry and regret all of my decisions. So we'll keep that up there just for extra added fun. I hope you'll consider maybe pledging a little bit along the way, because yeah, it'll be fun. If nothing else, maybe I'll cry on camera. And yes, this is my office. Thanks for asking, Anthony. Yeah, this is my home office, not my actual work office. They don't let me play video games there. Or rather, they don't know that I play video games sometimes there. So I will quit stalling and go ahead and get the game started. Oh wow, thank you very much for the follow, I appreciate it. Also, I guess I should mention something I have in my back pocket. For subscriptions, I'll just eat a handful of these jelly beans, so I'm willing to do whatever it takes for no good reason whatsoever. I'm just doing this on a lark. We'll see. Alright, so we just finished meeting Malia Getty. We're slowly unraveling information about voodoo and about these voodoo murders. So, I believe our next stop is probably the Voodoo Museum.
Welcome, my friend.
Hello.
I am the proprietor, Dr. John. If you have any questions, I will be happy to assist.
Great. My name is Knight, and I'll probably take you up on that.
Interesting, he introduces himself as Knight there. There was that one guy in the real world that one season whose first name was Knight, so don't know why he wouldn't just say Gabriel Knight like he does to everyone else. As of course Lieutenant Commander Michael Dorn doing the voice here. Have a little chat.
Could I ask you some questions?
That is why I am here.
What can you tell me about voodoo?
Historical voodoo? Or the voodoo currently practiced in the city?
Let's hear a little bit about historical
Tell
voodoo.
me about historical voodoo.
Very well. I will start at the beginning, Mr. Knight. and will go on from there at your prompting.
Sounds good.
As you may know, voodoo is a grassroots religion formed by the mixing together of many different African tribal religions and Anglo religions, such as Catholicism or Protestantism. In other words, it is a religion born of the African slave trade. But African slaves were imported not only by the United States, but also into the West Indies, where the French and Spanish ran plantation islands. Prior to 1803, the New Orleans area was owned by France. The French Creole in those days owned many African slaves. But the Creole did not permit their slaves to gather, giving no chance for voodoo to breed here natively. The Creole also knew enough about the corrupted pagan practices of the West Indies slaves to ban the importing of slaves from that region.
Did that voice just switch up there for the final line? Maybe it was recorded during a different session?
So, how did voodoo come to New Orleans?
After the Louisiana Purchase, American legislators relaxed regulations. Slaves were permitted to gather. The Americans also removed the ban on West Indies slaves. Around the same time, a slave revolt occurred in Santo Domingo, what is now Haiti. Between the lifting of the ban and the Haitian revolt, West Indies slaves began pouring into New Orleans. Some of them were free people of color, freed or escaped slaves. Some came with their white owners who were fleeing from the revolt.
What happened when the West Indies slaves got here?
They brought voodoo with them. The native slaves were more than enthusiastic about embracing it. It gave them power, Mr. Knight, if only in the form of a communal bond. Among the first meeting places were the Bayou Saint John and the shore of Lake Pontchartrain. The early voodoos were heavy snake worshippers, worshipping the one they called the Great Zombie.
Tell me more about historical.
This is fascinating. I love it.
By 1817, the voodoo activities were beginning to cause fear among the white slave owners. An ordinance was passed to forbid slave gatherings except in designated public areas at designated times. The time was Sunday afternoons and the place, Congo Square. The slaves and free people of color gathered to dance simulations of their voodoo dances right in sight of Creole society. Of course, they also continued to meet in private for the real thing.
Once again, this is a fun voice performance. This game's full of them.
Tell me more about historical voodoo.
There were a variety of kings and queens at first, voodoo priests and priestesses. But from about 1830, a single power emerged. This was a voodoo queen named Marie Laveau. Marie Laveau ruled voodoo in New Orleans for many years.
In my experience, you can't go around New Orleans without seeing plenty of mentions of Marie Laveau. I can't believe Gabriel Knight wouldn't be pretty familiar with her already.
Tell me more about historical voodoo.
I've given you as much detail as I can, Mr. Knight. Look around the museum if you desire more information.
Tell me about current voodoo.
What's new in
Many
voodoo?
people think of voodoo in terms of magic spells or gree-gree. That kind of practice is actually called hoodoo and is only a part of true voodoo. Voodoo, the religion, has a strong following in New Orleans. In fact, it is growing quite rapidly. There are several voodoo churches or temples in the city, and others all across the United States. African Americans see it as a tradition all their own. Whites, and there are many in their religion, are attracted to it because they think it is exotic. I, personally, am more interested in the history of voodoo. Some of the new movements are copying Haitian or even African voodoo. But it is the voodoo of New Orleans that I find so intriguing.
Is there anything else I should know about
Who do
voodoo?
your voodoo?
Not if your interest is primarily in voodoo. Hoodoo is of interest to those who study rural folk traditions, but it will not aid you in understanding true voodoo.
Do you know Malia Getty?
Should I?
She referred me to your museum.
Many have read about our museum in the newspapers, Mr. Knight.
That's a good point.
Score 1 for Dr. John.
Tell me about yourself.
Me?
Yes, if you don't mind.
What is it you wish to learn?
Tell me
Just
anything.
tell me anything.
I'm fascinated by
I
you.
am originally from the West Indies myself, you know.
Really? What brought you to New Orleans?
I was drawn here for personal reasons.
Actually, I can't.
Then,
Okay, let's maybe move through
Have
some
you
of this.
ever heard of a Schottenjäger?
no, I have not.
Excellent question. Are you secretly leading a sacrificial murder cult? Probably something good to ask.
Tell me more about Marie Laveau.
There were actually two Marie Laveaus, mother and daughter. Most people thought they were the same woman. Her continued youth added to the mystique. The original, the mother, was also known as Widow Paris. It was she that began the empire. When the Widow Paris began to practice, there were many voodooans in the city. By 1830, she was voodoo queen of all New Orleans.
Okay.
Tell me more about Marie Laveau.
The Widow Paris was a hairdresser for rich Creole ladies. She also paid household servants to spy for her. Between the two, she knew everything about everyone who mattered in New Orleans. She was not above using her information to appear psychic, to intimidate, or even to blackmail.
You sound as though you admire her.
For a black woman in the mid-1800s to gain power is an incredible thing, Mr. Knight. However she achieved it.
Oh no! We have a cheer for 100 bits. It's happening. As you might have noticed, thank you so much for the cheer, by the way. I appreciate it. Oh no, and the Sriracha Bean Redemption. So, as I was saying earlier, as part of this stream tonight, I am eating these jelly beans, taste testing them for the first time. With 100 bits, you get a cayenne pepper, and with 500 points, we do Sriracha. I'm going to start with the Sriracha since it's the coolest of them. It'll be my first time. Bean Cam! Okay, pausing the game completely. We have a Sriracha jelly bean. Oh my gosh, that's hot. Oh no. Oh, it's so hot. It does taste like Sriracha. It's not just heat. That is really hot. It's the easy one. Oh, it tastes just like Sriracha. Now my nose is burning. Now we're going to jump 2 steps up and we're going to try this lovely, there it is, cayenne. This is 2 steps up the chart. Jelly bean cam enabled. I do not have yogurt. All I have is water. This could go horribly. No. That one is like taking a big swig of Tabasco sauce. Oh, no. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for the support. Back to the stream. Back to the stream. Oh my god. Okay, hey, this is fun. Welcome to the stream, everyone.
Tell me more about Marie Laveau.
She kept a pet snake, danced with it too. She held traditional voodoo ceremonies out by the lake. She took herself seriously, very seriously. But she was not above selling tickets for her events to curiosity seekers. She was not above using voodoo any way she could to make money. That is for certain. But if she had been in another line of work, in another age, that would have been interpreted as entrepreneurial genius rather than a sign of fraudulence.
Hey, you don't need to convince me. I admire anyone that can actually make a living.
Whoa, that that delivery. Make a living. Thank you, Tim Curry, for getting into it.
Tell me more about Marie Laveau.
It was Marie Laveau who defined the voodoo that is truly and uniquely the voodoo of New Orleans. She invented hundreds, if not thousands of spells, potions, charms, and incantations. These form the basis of the modern practice, not to mention the folk tradition of hoodoo.
Is that all we need to know about?
Tell me more.
Her daughter, Marie
wow.
Glapion, took over when the widow Paris got old. Most people thought it was the same Marie Laveau. Both Maries encouraged that point of view. The widow Paris died in 1881. Marie Glapion had been reigning a long time by then. After the death of the widow Paris, other voodoo queens surfaced, and by 1890, the cult was fragmented again. Marie Glapion just sort of faded away.
I reached the end of the Marie
Tell
Laveau
me more about...
tree, yeah.
The Laveau tomb, where
this is
one
what I
or
need.
both of the Maries are believed to be buried, is in St. Louis Cemetery number 1. It is a popular shrine for practitioners and tourists alike. I myself take tours through the cemetery on a regular basis.
Really? Do you have any running this week?
No, but the cemetery is open to the general public as well.
Okay, that got us our points that we needed.
Do you have any idea what Cabri Saint-Gar means?
I fear my French is not all it should be, Mr. Knight.
Same.
Do you know anything about snakes?
Ah, you have perhaps noticed the museum's snake, Mr. Knight. They are beautiful creatures, do you not agree? And the tourists seem to associate them with voodoo.
Asking about the voodoo murders. Who knows? He could know something.
What do you know about the voodoo murders?
The killings in the newspaper? I know that they have nothing to do with true voodoo in New Orleans.
Okay, I think that's all we need to get from him. I'm starting to cool down from my terrible jelly bean experience. I almost feel like a human being again.
A very large, very formidable looking snake is secured in a plexiglass cage. The snake is too far away.
Eat the beans. Okay, we've got another sriracha. I won't enable the bean cam since we've already done sriracha once, but it's hot. It's still hot. So far of the two, I prefer it. I enjoy
Gabriel
sriracha.
can't do a thing with the drummer on the street.
I enjoy sriracha. It's a good flavor. It works well as a jelly bean. Like, I would actually possibly eat that by choice. The cayenne one's not so much. Bean cam. Anthony demands bean cam.
Gabriel can't do...
I'll do bean cam next time, I promise. I worked so hard setting up the bean
The
cam.
doorway is...
It does seem like a shame not to use it, doesn't it?
I'll be going.
Come back again.
Yeah, like, I would recommend the sriracha if you enjoy spicy foods, but it is as spicy as real sriracha, so it's got some heat going. If you're just joining us, I see a few new viewers just popped in. I am doing a crazy jelly bean thing. Pledge some bits or some channel points, and I will taste test a ridiculously spicy jelly bean. and cry on camera, probably.
I want a copy of these strange marks.
You know, I didn't spend as much time with Gabriel Knight. I never really played either of the sequels. I played this one, I believe, all the way through at some point when it first came out, but I'm having a ton of fun with it. I'm really enjoying the writing. It is so much better than you tend to see in adventure games from this era. It really stands out.
The marks are reddish in color and reminds Gabriel of crosses. They look like they've been here a few days at least. The tomb wall doesn't respond.
Thought I could interrogate that wall. It did not work.
San Luis
Probably needed to talk to that guy.
Near the Laveau tomb is a piece of red brick. Undoubtedly a cast-off from spiritual graffiti writers.
You know how it is, you're walking through a cemetery, see a brick, pick it up. All day long you'll have good luck. Beancast! That's my musical stinger for the jelly bean thing.
Could I have a minute of your time?
Yeah? What can I do for you?
Mind if I pick your brain a minute?
Go ahead. These folks ain't in no hurry.
Of course, the reference to this character appeared in Space Quest 6 also, on the holodeck.
Tell me something about St. Louis Cemetery, number 1.
You know why the dead are buried in tombs and not in the ground, don't you? The water table's too high. Them coffins would float right out of their graves. Them dead would go floating right down into the water. Course, if it were Mardi Gras, nobody'd even notice.
Have you ever heard the word Schottenjäger?
I don't know what you talking about.
I love that Gabriel basically got like a word of the day calendar that said Schottenjäger on it, and he's just like, to ask everybody I meet.
Do you know anything about Marie Laveau?
Sure. She was the voodoo queen of New Orleans. A powerful voodooine and a powerful sorceress. Believers still come to her tomb, you know. They write secret marks on the walls, leaving offerings and things. Then there's the tourists. They come out of curiosity. As a matter of fact, that big Dr. John fella from the Voodoo Museum, he's here at least once today. But Marie Laveau's tomb ain't the only one the believers visit and make markings and leave offerings at.
You said there were other marked tombs?
Yep. I seen bull hearts left on tombs and a nest of vulture feathers, plates of peas and corn grease, animal parts, human parts even, it looked like. Male parts, if you get my meaning. And this at one of the great family crypts, mind you. Odd how them types just pick a spot and stick to it.
Male parts, eh?
What else can you tell me about Marie Laveau?
Her tomb's on all our tours. Even the Baptists come round here to gawk. Course, you may not know this, but some of the real serious voodoo types argue that she ain't in this one at all, but down in an unmarked tomb in number 3. It's all the same to me, I say. Save me a lot of cleanup work if she weren't here, if you ask me.
What other tomb?
Right?
No, I ain't one for naming names. I don't like to encourage that kind of thing. It's distressing to the families, and rightly so. Don't know how that sort of thing gets started. Why folks come to start leaving stuff at that one spot. But it happens all the same.
Okay, I think I have what I need from this conversation for now. bugs me when adventure games make you really get to the very edge of the screen. It worked better when games were played full screen. It doesn't work so great when I'm in super zoom in mode. Oh, is there something I need to do at the third screen right now? You go back. Hey, good evening. Thanks for joining us. Thanks to everyone for being here tonight for our strange jelly bean cast, where I'm subjecting myself to ridiculous jelly bean challenges.
The imposing tomb is elaborately labeled Gede.
Name sounds familiar. Just give me the walk. Oh no, we have a cheer. Let's see here. Let me hop over. Oh no, 200 bits. It's happening. All right, this demands bean cam. So 200 bits. That is the big one. That is the Carolina Reaper. You can see it there. This is supposed to be the worst of the bunch. Oh, thank you so much, Rachel, Rar, for the follow. I appreciate it. You're here just in time to watch me eat a very spicy jelly bean. So here we go. Oh no. Oh no. Oh my god. Oh, it's so hot. Oh, it's bad. It's sticking around. It's definitely sticking around. Oh, hey Patrick, thank you for the raid. You're here just in time to watch me eat ridiculously spicy jelly beans. That's the Carolina Reaper, and I'm going to die. All right. We'll hold this together, but why? That's exactly right. It needs the but why gift to go with it. I don't know. I found these at a candy store recently and thought it would be funny. It's not funny. It's for real. Whew. Okay. I made it through the worst one. So far, we've tried the sriracha, which I kind of like. The cayenne, which tastes like just taking a swig of Tabasco sauce. And the Carolina Reaper, which tastes like maybe a second-degree burn in my mouth. Let's see here. Back to the game. It says in my walkthrough I'm supposed to go to Moonbeam's house at this point, but I don't think I have that on my map, do I? I need to go to the Napoleon house at the moment. We won't vomit. No, there'll be no vomit. I'm going to survive this. I can do this. Not today, Satan. Oh, Dr. John needs to tell me about Moonbeam. That sounds right.
Hello, Dr. John.
Glad you could return to us, Mr. Knight.
But welcome, everyone. I'm glad you could join me tonight. Just streaming Gabriel Knight, Sins of the Fathers. I usually stream
Could I ask you
Retro
some more
Adventures on
questions?
Wednesdays.
Of course. I also find
Current
Tell me
voodoo?
more.
there are many voodoo ends. Perhaps you would like to meet a
Oh,
voodoo
yeah,
end.
there we go.
We refer those who seek a deeper experience with voodoo to a local practitioner, Magentia Moonbeam.
Sure, I'd love to meet her.
She lives on the corner of Orleans and Dauphine. I will call her and tell her you might stop by.
Great, thanks.
There we go. All right. Well, that I almost called it a Carolina Peeper. Carolina Reaper jelly bean really sticks with you. It is powerful. It was a
I'll be going.
mistake.
Goodbye, Mr. Knight.
There we go. The Moonbeam Residence.
Welcome, Seeker. You must be the one Dr. John called me about.
I guess so. My name is...
Wait, Gabriel Knight?
You're too quick for me.
Actually, Dr. John told me. You have come to the right place, Mr. Knight. Tell me how I can help.
Oh, that's interesting. The werewolf foreshadowing there. I hadn't heard that.
A large crystal ball is prominently displayed. A large, sluggish snake rests on the floor of the fancy bird cage. Apparently, Magenta is not a fastidious housekeeper. A shed skin shares the cage with its original owner.
Got it.
Could I ask you a few questions?
Of course, Seeker.
This is a nice little track. Character portraits are fantastic in this game. I know Sierra featured them prominently in the advertisements and in Interaction magazine, everywhere else. They're right to be proud of.
What can you tell me about voodoo?
My practice is mainly selling charms and potions with magic power, such as gree-gree and voodoo oils. You know, everything from unrequited love to wandering spouses to winning a lawsuit. But my spells and charms are powerful, and they work.
Give me an example of a gree-gree.
All right,
That read.
here's an old one. Take a lodestone and some brimstone to a crossroads at midnight. Light the brimstone with a match, and a spirit will come and give you advice in gambling.
So I know normally I let channel points pay for story time with Jess, but that little bit of gree-gree reminded me of something that I experienced in my childhood, so I'll go ahead and tell it while I have a moment. When I was, let's say 7 or 8 years old, I had a couple of warts on one of my thumbs that I desperately wanted rid of. And one weekend while I was staying with my grandmother while my parents were out of town, my grandmother came up with this story of some sort of backwoodsy way to get rid of warts. Basically, you prick both of them with a sewing needle, then you rubbed a bean leaf from like a green bean plant. You rubbed a bean leaf over them, and then you buried that leaf at a crossroads. And supposedly your warts would go away. And my parents were out of town at the time. We went through with this ritual. We buried the green bean leaf at a crossroads, and within a few weeks, the warts disappeared. Now, granted, lots of studies have suggested that warts can be dealt with a good bit of like psychosomatic healing type stuff. So maybe it was just the placebo effect. I convinced my warts to go away on my own. But that was my own gree-gree that I experienced, similar to this one she's told
Give
us
me an
about.
example of a gree-gree.
Here's an old hoodoo Dr. Gree-gree. Place a dime under your client's tongue, and if the client is under a spell of any kind, the dime will turn black.
That's just true.
Give me an example of a gree-gree.
To send someone away, take a rotten egg and write that person's name on it 9 times. You can also write on it where you want to send that person to. Take it and throw it against his door at midnight.
So my grandmother definitely gave me a gree, as Tim Curry chooses to deliver the line here.
Do you know anything about Marie Laveau?
Oh yes, she was the first of the great voodoo queens.
Do you have any idea what Caprice sans cœur means?
No. No, I don't.
What's the significance of St. John's Eve?
St. John's Eve? It is the greatest night of the voodoo year. There is always a traditional conclave on St. John's Eve. Most of our voodoo churches these days hold functions in the church hall, but in the old days, they had ceremonies out in the wild, and they wore animal masks and had a huge bonfire and dancing. I used to go when I was an apprentice, sometimes in the swamp, you know, Bayou St. John, sometimes at the Lake Pontchartrain.
Ah, so animal masks. That sounds like the recurring dreams we've been having.
Tell me about the animal masks.
I saw them used once or twice when I was younger, but you don't see them much anymore. They're too close.
Too close to what?
Just bad karma.
Tell me
I don't know what else to say.
Do you know anything about snakes?
Snakes? You mean like my beloved Grimwald? She's a python, you know. Quite deadly in the wrong hands. I was trained by one of the great voodoo queens to learn how to hypnotize and handle snakes.
Interesting. Tell me about the crimes of Grimwald.
About Grimwald.
What about her?
How about giving me one of Grimwald's scales? I know that sounds creepy, but trust me.
Would you consider giving me one of Grimwald's scales?
No, I couldn't do that. You might do some gree-gree of your own, no? One must be very careful with such things. Hair clippings, nail parings, and snake scales.
Came for the beans, stayed for education. That's what it's all about. I'm all about teaching.
How about showing me how you handle Grimwald?
Really? You would like to see me dance, perhaps?
That would be swell.
I won't make you wait, Monsieur Knight. No matter what you see, do not be frightened.
I'll give it my best shot.
This is great.
Gabriel grabs the shed snake skin while Magenta is otherwise occupied.
She must have been in the zone, huh?
They are truly inspiring, isn't it?
That's certainly one word for it.
Okay. Not bad. Do we have to ask her about anything else while we're here? Oh, we should ask her about the tomb messages, maybe.
Does this mean anything to you?
I can be of no help to you, see.
Could I ask you a few more questions?
Sir.
Ah, it's a different item. Got it. Let's use that then.
Do these symbols mean anything to you?
Oh, the voodoo code. It is very secret, yes. I studied it with my mentor, the great Queen Tabitha.
Really? Great. Can you tell me what it says?
Let's see. Well, some of it is nonsense, I'm afraid. Whoever wrote this wasn't very good.
That's all right. Just tell me what it says.
It starts with a D and a J, and then... Okay, this part makes sense. It says, conclave tonight, bring... then there's more nonsense. F-W-E-T-K-A-S-H.
F, wet
That last
cash.
bit might mean cash. Fresh cash? It doesn't make much sense.
That's okay, thanks. DJ Conclave. K-A-S-H. It's a start.
I'm happy I could help.
F that wet cash. Okay. Now let's, right in front of her, begin
There's
examining
no
these.
reason.
Where's my
This is the
snake
first
scale?
page. Gabriel magnifies the scale from the lake. The iridescent scale is brilliantly hued with greens and purples.
Enclave to not bring fresh cash. Yeah, that checks out. Now let's examine her snake skin.
Gabriel magnifies the shed skin from Magenta Moonbeam's snake. It's the shed.
Yeah, I don't think that they're the same, huh?
Could I ask you a few more?
Sir,
Tell me.
oh, I wouldn't want to give away. What about...
Nothing.
Oh,
Okay.
What can you...
much of a voodoo yen's work is protecting her clients from the spell of others. I make special protective gree-gree to be worn in secret. They keep evil spells from working against my clients.
What do you know about the voodoo murders?
Why, that has nothing to do with me and my clientele. But I can tell you that you should stay as far from it as possible. There is badness there. Very bad.
Thank you for that update, Windows. Oh, hey Eric, happy Wednesday. Welcome to the stream. Welcome everyone who's just popped in at some point. We're playing Gabriel Knight 1, and I am eating novelty jelly beans on camera to see if I die before we solve the voodoo murders as I eat habanero and other fun-flavored beans. So far I've had sriracha, cayenne, and Carolina Reaper, and I'm still here. Barely.
Well, I guess I'll be gone now.
The Carolina Reaper was
May
no
the
joke.
protection of the snake god go with you.
Thanks. Hello.
Mm-hmm.
Bonjour, Monsieur Walker.
Oh, bienvenue, Madame Casino. Comment ça va? How you be feeling today?
Well, I'll tell you, Mr. Walker, I'm certain someone's buried a sleep note bag somewhere near my steps. I haven't slept a wink in weeks.
Oh, don't that beat all? Well, you're gonna need some easy night candles then.
Do you think that would help? I do hope you're right. I said 3 rosaries this morning for Our Lady's intervention.
Rosaries are good, sure enough. But you burn those candles too, and you gonna whip any old no-sleep gree-gree, I tell you for sure.
Very well, Mr. Walker. Put them on my account and send them round to my house. Oh, and there's another thing. I didn't catch her at it, but I know Mrs. Lefebvre put stomachache powder in my tea at the last meeting of the Creole Grand Dames. Oh, I've been in misery.
You put 9 pinheads up in a little box, add a pinch of graveyard dust, and put it under her front porch step. That'll turn the trick back on Mrs. Lefebvre, and she'll be the one with the bellyache. I have the pins and the dust, right here if you want 'em.
If the Blessed Virgin will grant me her protection, I'll be safe from these practitioners of evil.
Oui, madame. Though it don't hurt to be proactive none neither, now does it?
Naturellement, monsieur. Merci beaucoup.
Mais non, madame. It is nothing. Au revoir.
Au revoir, Monsieur Walker.
I like the idea of old high society ladies sneaking around doing voodoo. Let's talk to Willie again.
Can I ask you just a few more questions?
Whatever, man.
That customer of yours, the little old lady,
Customer?
the woman I saw in here, Madame Cazonou, you called her.
I don't talk about my customers to men who come in off the street.
I like this character.
Do you know anything about animal masks?
Like the ones in the voodoo rituals they do for the tourists?
Right.
I used to sell a few as souvenirs. The only one left is Willie Jr. over there. The old crocodile. Well, he's sort of a mascot now, him.
That is the plot of Golden Girls. You're exactly right. People don't talk about all the voodoo that was going on in Golden Girls, but that was like 75% of the episodes. Rose would put a gree on Dorothy. Just from there, she'd tell a story about St. Olaf, go off the rails.
About Willie Jr., would you be willing to let him go?
Maybe. For $100.
$100? You gotta be kidding.
Me and Willie Jr. very close now. I could part with him for less.
Might need him to solve a puzzle later, though. An adventure game
The shop would,
protagonist. Wait, what'd that say? I clicked.
the shop would be rather vulnerable without a door.
It went up to $120 in the remake. That's actually pretty hilarious. Like, nobody will believe $100 anymore. I think we're done with the day. I wish the game gave an indication of when you're ready to call it quits for a day.
Hello, beautiful. It's me.
I wish you wouldn't wear that coat outside in June. I could smell you from here.
A human being would die wearing a leather duster around New Orleans in June. It's simply not possible.
Got a minute, Grace?
What's up?
Do you have messages for me?
Nope. None right now.
Could you do some research for me?
Sure, what?
I saw an interesting person in town today. Find out everything you can about her. She didn't seem suspicious, but I'd really like you to just dig up some dirt.
I need you to look up a Madame Cazeneuve.
Madame Cazeneuve? Is she related to the murders the same way your friend, Malia Getty, was?
Grace, Cazeneuve's at least 70.
As if that makes a difference to you. Okay, I'll see what I can find. Anything else?
I can't think of anything.
Okay. It's time to close shop.
So it is. Have a nice night.
You too. See you tomorrow.
I should have saved at some point here. Someone in chat remind me to save as soon as we get a chance to again. Ah, thank you. Talisman. Blood splash. Fake dagger. There we go. Da 43. Drawn to Bacchus' abode, I sought there to conspire. But it was in the city of the dead that I found my heart's desire.
I'm so glad you could join us today. I've got messages when you want them. I also checked out Kazanu. There are multiple listings in the white pages. I got the page, but you'll have to figure out the right one.
Great, thanks.
Now, are you gonna tell me what happened yesterday with Malia Getty, or is it just too embarrassing? Don't tell me you actually got to see her.
Are the stars out tonight?
Oh, Tim
Gabriel.
Curry.
You don't seriously think she's interested? She can have any man in the city. You know, men with bank accounts.
You underestimate the Knight family's tragic poet samurai appeal. When Daddy married Mom, she was the hottest catch in town.
I always suspected there was something fishy in your family tree. But seriously, I think you should be careful.
Grace.
I'm serious. I don't know why, but I have a bad feeling in the pit of my stomach about this.
It's called jealousy, my dear. And you're right. You should be jealous of Malia Getty, as should every woman on this planet.
Oh, never mind. I'll just fix these books. Your life is in your own slippery little hands.
The point is to get it into somebody else's hands. And soon.
Samurai. All right, let's get that saved. Thank you again for reminding me, Eric. So... there we go.
Hey, kids.
Huh?
Bruno.
Gabe, pet. I just popped in to see if you're desperate enough to sell me that painting.
Are you ready to drop dead today?
How much would you give me for it, Bruno?
Gabriel, don't you dare sell your father's painting.
Stay out of this, Grace.
Be rude and
Ooh,
dismissive.
you're serious? You'll let me have it?
Yeah, I'll let you have it, all right. How much for the painting?
Well, I could give you 100. That's all I can let go at the moment, you know. My fares are so tied up.
Gabriel, $100 for your father's painting?
Grace, let me deal with this.
I've had my eye on this really cool alligator mask.
Fine, it's yours.
Gabriel!
Here's the 100.
You better take good care of this, Bruno. This is not just another of your hip art pieces, you know.
Really? Well, I fully intend to make the most of its display, though not for your sake, I'm sure. At least in my shop, there'll be a chance of someone actually seeing it. I can't believe I actually got it. Just wait until I show Sid.
I don't believe you!
It's just a painting, Grace. There are things I have to do.
Has to be this way, Grace.
Gabriel can see that Times Picayune, dated June 20, 1993. Gabriel scans over an uninteresting front page. Under the cultural events section, there's a notice about a lecture on African religions. The lecture is at Tulane University. Gabriel's horoscope for the day. An evil eye is upon you. Change course before it's too late.
Lighten up.
Okay. If you're just joining us, welcome to the stream. Playing around with Gabriel Knight 1, Sins of the Fathers. Today, having some fun with it. We've moved into day 3 of the storyline now as we investigate the voodoo murders. Also, if you're just joining us, this is a special Beancast. I'm testing out some Jelly Belly, Bean Boozled, Diary 5 Challenge beans. You can see some of the names listed on screen there. For a few channel points, for for some bits cheered. I'll try them out on camera. You can watch me wince, you can watch me groan, you can watch me cry. For a subscription, I'll throw a handful of them in my mouth and I'll probably die. And I don't know if that's a violation of Twitch's terms of service, but, you know, I won't have to worry about being banned.
Got a minute, Grace?
What's up?
Do you have messages for me?
Your pal Mosley called. He left a message that they're interrogating a suspect this morning and you might want to be there.
Sounds fun.
Mm-hmm. I bet.
Do you have more messages for me?
That man from Germany called again, Wolfgang Ritter. Now he's claiming to be a relative of yours. I took down his number. If you change your mind and want to give him a call back, just ask me for it.
Oh, no. Thank you so much, Eric. Wow. That is very kind. I don't even know what that all means now. So Eric just gifted a whole bunch of subs to people viewing tonight. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it. That's super kind. Let me start picking out my death beans. Wow, that's something else. So, thank you so much. That's really kind. I appreciate it. Thank you for indulging my attempt to harm myself on screen, too. This cry for help that is my Gabriel Knight stream. So, think what I'm going to do. Since I haven't yet tried the jalapeno and the habanero, I'm going to do a Carolina Reaper, the hottest. Oh, wait, I better switch to Bean Cam. Okay, so I've got Carolina Reaper, I've got Cayenne, and I've got Sriracha. I'll throw in extra Sriracha for good measure. And oh wow. So they hit different ways. Like the Sriracha is really hot at the first bite, so is the Cayenne. But then the Reaper comes on late. Whew. All right. Yeah, they exist, I think, strictly as a novelty, just because, you know, funny gag gift. I saw them in a candy store the other day. My daughter was actually with me and thought it would be hilarious if I ate them. So she's going to get to enjoy seeing this video when she gets up in the morning. Bean Cam for life. That's right. I'm so glad I have Bean Cam going. So thank you. Yeah, they're, you know, I say this as like my eyes are watering right now, but they're not that bad. I actually like the Sriracha still. I'd go with them. Carolina Reapers are a little too powerful, but still haven't tried the jalapeno or the habanero. But the Reapers are supposed to be the worst of the bunch. All right. Goodbye, Jelly Bean Cam. Hello, regular Cam. Yeah, this is from the same line that produces the Bean Boozled every flavor bean thing, I'm pretty sure. Wow. My body is starting to burn horribly.
Can I get that phone number for Wolfgang Ritter?
Sure, I'll give it to you when we're done talking.
This is a strange stream. I don't know why I decided to do this, but I'm having fun. Thank you all for supporting. Thank you so much again, Eric, for all of those subscriptions. That's a super kind gift to everyone out there.
Do you have more messages for me?
I've given everything to you.
Could you
Sure.
Can't think of
can't
anything.
Okay.
Do you know anything about animal masks?
I'd really rather not hear about your sex life, Knight.
Good line. Bean cam for life. I wasn't sure about the bean cam. I had second thoughts as I was rigging it up earlier today, but I think the bean cam is paying off.
Here's that phone number.
Thanks.
Somewhere there's a new...
Okay. Got some numbers.
The letter is addressed to my...
Not the one I
The
want.
number written on the note is 4909 324 3333.
That's so good. I want to hear this narrator like luxuriate in this number again.
The number written on the note is 4909 324 3333.
That is so good. I love this narrator. She adds so much to the game. You know, I think when I played this originally, I found the narrator a little much. Like, I felt like the slow line reads, especially on a slower computer that had to spin up a CD-ROM drive, I kind of hated having to wait for like a Gabriel doesn't want to do that kind of response. And now I love it. It just has so much character. I love he has a Mardi Gras poster.
A poster on the wall advertises Mardi Gras, the biggest party of the year in New Orleans.
Of course, he has some Mardi Gras beads up here.
Mardi Gras mementos left by some female or other. Gabriel's desk has been a little cold bubbly, and brie cheese is about all Gabriel's fridge ever has in it. Bills from last Christmas gather dust on the door.
I've got to tell you, if I had a mini fridge stocked with brie and champagne, that's living the good life. I'm not going to complain about that. I would kill for some brie right now, because Lord knows what I need to put into my human body at this moment is some cheese on top of these horrible, horrible beans that are they're destroying my insides.
The medicine cabinet contains a few old prescriptions, personal hygiene stuff, and lots of hair products, including some hair gel.
I like that they lampshade Gabriel's ridiculous hair.
I'll take this hair gel. You never know when you'll need a touch-up.
Okay, so we need to call Hans Ritter, right? Use this international dialing code. 3, 3, 3, 3. I have to hit on, don't I? Gosh darn it. 3, 3, 3.
Guten Tag, Sie haben Schloss Ritter erreicht?
I'm looking for Wolfgang Ritter.
Ja, einen Moment.
Yeah, is this Gabriel on the phone?
This is Gabriel Knight. Why are you calling me, Mr. Ritter?
I have been having premonitions of great danger for you, Gabriel. You must leave New Orleans this very day.
What the hell are you talking about?
It is hard to explain on the phone. I have had feelings about you. It took me a long time to have you tracked down. I had a sense that Heinz had a grandson, but until these dreams started, I did not know if I should contact you.
You say you're related to my grandfather?
Yes, Heinz was my brother. There is much about the family that you should know, Gabriel. Come to Schloss Ritter in Rittersberg, West Germany. It is our family home. I will tell you everything when you come. You must come immediately. You are in great danger there.
Look, I appreciate the family spirit and all, but frankly I don't know you from Adam, and I'm not going to fly off to Germany even if I could afford it.
Gabriel, please. If you won't listen, at least let me send you something. It is a journal from one of your ancestors. Promise me you will read it.
Well, I'm pretty busy.
Please, Gabriel, you are the last of our line. I am too old to carry on. You are our last hope. Please, for your family, read the journal.
All right, I'll look at it.
Good. Now be careful and come to me as soon as you can. Goodbye.
Okay, let's see if we can find the Casino residence.
Hello?
Hello? I'm calling from the Dixieland drugstore. We have an order for you.
Castro, be quiet. Who is this?
I'm a friend of the owner.
I'm sure I don't know what you're talking about.
My walkthrough lists one more number. What was it?
Cajun Critters Animal Clinic. This is Melissa.
Do you have a Madame Cazonou as a client?
Madame Cazano? Sure, I know her. She's not here right now, though.
Really? She told me she'd be there. Would you happen to have an address by any chance?
Yes, but I'm not sure I should give it out. Who are you again?
I'm worried about Castro. He's missed 3 dance lessons. Won a major prize.
I'm worried about Castro. He's missed 3 dance lessons.
Castro? Her little doggy? Oh, he's so sweet. Well, I guess if you know Castro, it's okay. Her address is 345 Dauphine.
Thanks.
Oh man, wish I had gotten to ask about animal sacrifice. Can I still do it? 555.
What can you tell me about voodoo?
Oh hey, there's the Gabriel Knight sticker coming in for a landing. Oops.
There's nothing there.
Thank you for doing it. Oh, and since it was a 50-bit pledge, after I make this phone call, maybe I will also use that as an excuse to down a jelly bean. 6170. Okay, they're busy now. I don't get to ask about animal sacrifice. That's a bummer. Okay, so for 50 beans, that gets me into jalapeno territory. I haven't tried one of the jalapeno beans yet, so this should be exciting. 3, 2, 1. Bean cam. All right. We have the green jalapeno bean. Bean can. Or bean cam. All right. Let's go for it. That one may be milder than sriracha. It's supposed to be one step up on the chart, but it's not as bad. Either that or my taste buds are just shot at this point. It could be I've just blown them completely away and can't even taste the spice anymore. They have a nice sweetness at the beginning, and then a flavor that definitely is like jalapeno. They aren't just hot. They have that, don't know, very gardeny taste, I guess I would associate with jalapeno. I don't have a good way to necessarily describe it, but it's pretty good. I like the jalapeno. It and the sriracha, while they're hot, have a good enough flavor that I'd like to power through with them. The only one so far, Tom, that we haven't tried is habanero. We've made it all the way up to Carolina Reaper, but the habanero goes untasted so far. But let's get back to our actual game camera. Okay. So we've called our numbers we need to call. Let's head to Jackson Square.
See you later.
Don't hurry back on my account.
By the way, amidst all the wackiness of the bean stuff, I'm absolutely loving Gabriel Knight 1 still. I'm having so much fun just exhausting all of these dialogue options and enjoying the writing. It's just such a well done game. You don't know. I was like, you're saving it. I like that. I respect the decision.
The artist is an able draftsman, but interrogating him wouldn't lend much to Gabriel's investigations.
Must properly time the beans. When it comes to bean stunts, timing is everything.
How's it going today?
What? Oh, it's only you. Man, I have been jumpy all day. That pattern of yours really freaked me out for some reason. There's just something creepy.
You finished it?
Yeah, and you're welcome to it. Here.
Wow, this is great.
Uh-huh. Just don't, blow up the planet with it or something, okay?
I didn't mean to upset you.
Oh, forget it. I'm probably just being stupid. Do your thing with it, and good luck.
He's new.
Could I ask you a few questions, Madame Lorelei?
The only answers I give are given in my reading. I'm sure your palm would be quite interesting. Come on, boys. Hoopla!
Wonder if her name is a reference to Lorelei Shannon, Sierra designer.
Not a bad idea. Ooh, baby, I love the way you move.
Madame Lorelei winks knowingly at Gabriel and twitches her head.
Yep, she wants me.
It's Tim Curry. That's why you pay for Tim Curry in a role like this. Gabriel has sexually harassed most of the women he's met so far, but at least he's consistent.
Thanks, boys.
I'd love to know how they switched over to that music with those instruments. Very careless with her scarves or her veils.
Those two objects. There's not. Gabriel examines the veil with. That sequin looks a little strange. Why, it's a snake scale.
I have an interest in snake scales lately.
This is the first page of inventory.
Thank you, narrator. How useful.
Gabriel carefully uses the tweezers to remove the snake scale from the veil.
I really enjoy the conceit that there are just all kinds of people with snakes around, and it's up to Gabriel to figure out which snake is the guilty snake.
Gabriel magnifies the scale from the fortune teller. The iridescent scale is hued olive green.
Same color as a jalapeno bean. Okay, so we got that. I guess I should Oh no, there's 50. 50 is, yeah, jalapeno again. So thank you for the cheer. I appreciate it. Let's go over to the bean cam. Green bean. That time I got almost no heat. I don't know if that was a dud, or if I've just gotten accustomed to the beans, or if it's just my body shutting down one organ at a time and one sense at a time, and now I've lost my sense of taste completely. Which isn't good, because right now, like weekly, I have to report to my employer whether I've had any sort of sudden loss of taste. And it's going to be really hard to explain what's happening right here, right now to my employer. I'm going to have to start with explaining what Twitch is, and then work my way around to bits and dares and taste testings of beans and all the rest.
Those two.
Okay, I don't need to compare them that way. The body's defending itself from the beans. That's right, who knows what sort of superhuman mutant creature I will have evolved into by tomorrow. I'm still on bean cam. Why didn't someone tell me I'm on bean cam? Thank you. Thank you very much, ATM. Whew, that was a close one. I'm not comfortable with being on bean cam long term. Still on bean cam. It is wonderful that just in an hour and 20 minutes that bean cam has entered into the lingo of the channel. So that's wonderful. Okay. My walkthrough says we need to ask Grace to research some patterns.
Hello, beautiful. It's me.
Oh, joy.
You know, I could turn this into one of those channels where someone just turns on their bean cam and just chats for a few hours and doesn't play games or do anything else. I don't know if I necessarily have the charisma or storytelling ability or good looks to make that happen.
Got a minute, Grace?
What's up?
But I appreciate your enthusiasm, Bitter Alpaca.
Could you do some research for me?
Sure. What?
I have a pattern I need you to research.
How interesting. What is it?
It's a reconstruction of the tracings they found around the murder victims. The ones done in flour and blood.
Ugh. You shouldn't carry this kind of thing around. Who knows what these symbols mean?
Well, wear your evil banishing gloves if you want. But check it out for me, would you?
I'll see what I can find out. Anything else?
All right.
Can't think of anything.
Okay.
Okay, so Tom, aka Satnav, redeemed story time with Jess, one of our channel point rewards that doesn't involve me suffering. For you guys, it involves you suffering through one of my stories. So I will tell maybe one of my favorite stories from going to New Orleans for the first time. I grew up very much a country mouse in a small rural town. I hadn't really spent a lot of time in big cities. One of the first times I went to a big city on my own was with a college, I guess a grad school friend. We were both at a conference that was being held in New Orleans. My friend Eric and I, after we finished being unpacked in the room, went down to Bourbon Street to start exploring the city. And when I walked onto Bourbon Street, there was a guy standing there who came up to me and said, "Hey man, I bet you $1 I know where you got your shoes." And some level, you know, I knew that probably was going to be some sort of scam of some sort, but I was curious where it was going. He only wanted $1. So I gave him the $1, and the guy said, man, you got your shoes on Bourbon Street right now. They're standing right on it. And laughed and walked away. And I thought that was a great welcome to New Orleans. It was a pretty great experience. Right after that, a guy walked up to me and murmured under his breath, "Cocaine crack." And that was the first time I realized that drug dealers were a real thing too. So it was a fun introduction to New Orleans. But love New Orleans. It was such a good trip. We were your typical like conference tourists, my friend Eric and I. That is, we were wearing like our bad blazers and lanyards from the conference down on Bourbon Street, like all the other sad professionals who were there for various professional events. But yeah, I didn't know that people actually offered other people drugs like that. I'd been prepared for it by my DARE classes. DARE, of course, originated by the great Daryl Gates, former LAPD chief that I've gotten in trouble for talking about recently on social media. So I'll leave it at that. Police Quest 4 designer Daryl Gates. But that's story time. I loved it. It was so charming and it felt so quintessentially New Orleans. Not the drug dealing part, but rather the guy with the "you've got your shoes on Bourbon Street." Just so good. Okay, so now Grace is doing some research. Let's go buy that crocodile mask, alligator mask.
I'll be back later.
Uh-huh.
Oh no. My water's empty. This stream may have just gotten dangerous. We're getting ready to kick it up a level. Did he say crocodile? That's a good question.
Hi. Uh-huh.
It's a mannequin wearing a crocodile mask.
Yeah, I suppose that could be the African influence that we see in voodoo. Maybe it would be a crocodile rather than an alligator.
Can I ask you just a few more questions?
Whatever, man.
I do like that this guy seems less patient with us every time we meet him.
Are you still interested in selling that crocodile mask?
Or you show me $100 and the mask is yours.
Okay, so I actually have to show him $100, huh?
I have $100. You still want to sell that crocodile mask?
That's $100, sure enough. The mask, it's yours, sir.
Nice. Thanks again for joining me, everyone, tonight. This has been a fun stream so far, a little out of the ordinary. I'm having a blast.
Go. Careful it don't bite you now.
Yeah, thanks.
Don't you go forgetting your lagniappe. A free bottle of Master Gambling Oil.
The sign said I could get Lady Luck oil instead.
Well, I wasn't thinking a man as young as you would be needing that kind of remedying. But if you's having problems with your...
Oh, that's all right. Believe me, I don't need it. I'll just stick with this. Thanks, anyway.
Of course, it ain't none of my business if you do need it.
I don't need it.
Of course you don't.
Sierra did sell this as their adult game, right?
Gabriel doesn't want to put the mask on until he has to.
Well, too bad. He's putting it on. It's Gabriel Knight, Crocodile Man. Oh, hey, Sriracha Jelly Bean. Thank you very much for doing the points. Do a quickie. Yeah, my taste buds are definitely blown out at this point. It is, I'm barely getting any of the heat anymore. But the sriracha, again, really nice flavor. I would Recommend it if you like spicy foods. It is a good jelly bean. Easily the best of the bunch. Mosley wanted to see us, right?
The door works pretty.
Whoa.
You son of... Give me back my badge. Now, Knight!
Sure. Thanks for letting me borrow it.
Yeah? Well, you borrowed again in your history. Now, about today. Glad you made it. It'll give you a feel for how I am in action. You know, handling suspects, that sort of thing.
I'm sure it'll be invigorating. Who is this guy anyway?
Calls himself Crash. He's been an informant for us before, mostly helping us bust small-time pimps and dealers trying to break into the territory. Well, he's been staying invisible during these murders, but we picked him up this morning at Jackson Square. Pushing coke? He knows something. Call it detective's instinct.
Detective's instinct. Got it.
Maybe this is the guy who tried to sell me cocaine.
All right, Crash. I don't want to hear about these murders. You been present at the so-called voodoo ritual?
I don't know nothing. I told you.
Oh, come on now, you can tell me. Do you know anyone who's been to these rituals?
Look, I can't say nothing. You gotta let me go, man.
Now, you relax. No one knows you're here. The men who picked you up were plainclothesmen.
Plain clothes, like you could fool them. They know I'm here. They've got ears all over the city. They know everything.
Now, who are they, Crash? Are they the ones doing the murders?
Let me go.
If you're so worried about being detained, start talking. Now, you tell me what I want to hear, and maybe I can get you in the witness protection program. But you have to
Can
earn
Mosley do that?
Witness protection? Are you crazy? Don't make me laugh. Jesus, just let me out of here.
Now, come on, who's behind these murders, Crash? Why are the victims all members of the underworld?
By now they know I'm here. I mean, it's different when I'm supposed to come here. Well, if I can send a message, tell them I didn't say nothing.
Christ, he's frickin' useless. Take him back to detaining, would you, Tony? I tell you, times like this, I'd kill for truth serum and damn the civil rights.
Can I quote you on that?
Huh? Hell no. Damn! We only keep him for 24 hours. Tomorrow morning, I might have to let him go. Sorry it wasn't more exciting. For the book, I mean. Maybe you can punch it up some. You know, what do they call that? Fiction. That's it.
It certainly is. I'll see what I can do.
Yeah, I think that's all I need for now.
I'm gonna hit the road.
Have a...
I just wanted to inappropriately set in on that interrogation.
No, thanks. These would sure...
No, I should refrain from talking about Daryl Gates. This gets me in trouble. Malia Getty, eh?
Malia.
Mr. Knight, what are you doing here?
My family's tomb is here.
Mine too.
I noticed. Subtle.
Well, Mr. Knight, if there's nothing else.
Don't go. I need
Whoa.
to talk to you.
Whatever for.
I can't stop thinking about you. I've been in your thoughts too. I can see it in your eyes.
Mr. Knight, you don't know anything about me. I'm not in a position to get involved.
I've said that a million times myself, but this is different. I think we both know we can't fight it. Oh, I can't believe I'm saying this.
I have so many obligations. My family is very traditional. You wouldn't understand.
Hey, I love tradition. I've seen Fiddler on the Roof 100 times.
This isn't a musical, Mr. Knight. We live in different worlds.
Look, I know you've got more money than God. Do you think I care? Do you think that's why I'm saying this?
No, I don't.
Why don't you come see my world? I have a little bookshop, St. George's on Bourbon.
I know.
See? I knew it. You're crazy about me, too. Come by tonight. Please. My world isn't so bad.
I'm sorry, but there's no place for someone like you in my life. Not now, not ever.
Damn it.
Well, that was intense, right? The, grabbing. Oh, and by the way, Eric, I think it's important to note, Gabriel doesn't need that special oil. That was, not something that's important for him, for other customers. The last thing Gabriel needs is special gree oil. He's very clear about that. If you're just joining us, by the way, welcome to the Gabriel Knight Sins of the Father stream. We're playing through. We're here on day 3, making some progress, having some fun. This is also, as you may notice on the screen, special bean cast, where I'm eating super spicy jelly beans in exchange for bits and channel point pledges. So far, we've tried all the bits all the beans, except for habanero. We've tried a handful of beans at once. I seem to have lost my sense of taste. So that's like a superpower now, and I probably can't be stopped. I appreciate everyone's support. This is a weird way for support to happen, but that's half the fun. Okay, I think we're ready to go to Tulane. Oh, I know. That's true. I should have said can't be stopped.
It looks like the lecture is just starting. Gabriel decides to record the session.
Voodoo is the tribal religion of Africa, but the name Voodoo is actually a banner heading under which resides an entire body of distinct tribal belief systems. The word voodoo may sound familiar to you. What is known in the States as voodoo is actually an amalgamation of African religious systems, voodoo, and European religions, primarily Catholicism. All of the subcults of African voodoo have certain things in common. The most important is the worship of a pantheon of spirits instead of the single deity that the Christian and Muslim systems have. Some of these spirits are elementals. Some relate to specific tasks or places. Some represent important tribal leaders who have died. This spirit worship is what makes voodoo so easily adaptable. With all those spirits, it's no problem to add a few more. Say, for example, the Virgin Mary. At the height of tribal Africa, warfare was common. The one tribe would conquer another, and the Loa, important in the conqueror's tribal system, would be adopted readily into the conquered tribe's Loa pantheon. In this way, many of the voodoo cults spread and mingled throughout tribal Africa, enriching the belief system and causing innumerable offshoots. The basis for the voodoo religion seems to be as old as man himself. It has much in common with many early pagan practices: animal totems, sympathetic magic, elemental spirits in the trees, the heavens, the bodies of the sick. Africa is believed by many to be the cradle of the human race. Some of the voodoo Loa may be as old as the Garden of Eden itself. We still can't explain some of the real power of these primal religions. And note, I said primal, not primitive. There are African Bokors who baffle our scientists with their supernatural powers. Now, let's discuss the elements of voodoo.
fascinating guy.
In voodoo,
This is
the
fascinating.
spirits are called the Loa. During a voodoo ceremony, celebrants are possessed by the Loa, and this is called being ridden. The human worshiper is seen as a horse, and the Loa as the divine horseman. A person being ridden by a Loa takes on the characteristics of that spirit and becomes, in effect, merely a vessel for the more powerful entity. Some of the older original Africa Loa include Dambala, the great serpent god, Ezruli, the mistress of love, Papa Nebo or Gede, the lord of death, Agwe, the spirit of water, Legba, spirit of the crossroads, and the cruelest and most dangerous, Ogun Badagri, the lord of destruction.
Ugh. Oh, I gotta get more sleep at night.
Tribe-specific Loa can have as much or more power as the more widely worshipped Loa. For instance, a particular tribe might revere highly the Loa of an ancestor who was a legendary hunter or politician. Voodoo temples are called Hounfours. Their priests, Hungan or Bokors. Their priestesses, Mama Loa. In a Voodoo Hounfour, there's a ritual circle marked by a center pole called a poto mitan. The ritual circle is prepared with a veve, a pattern of symbols. Each tribe's veve is slightly different, consisting of complex symbols that identify their special Loa. During ritual conclaves, initiates dance under the supervision of a Bokor and a Mama Loa, or head priestess. The use of totems or animal masks and markings was not uncommon in the original African ceremonies. Now, though, all but the oldest sects have abandoned this practice. Ritual objects used during the conclaves include the ritual gourd or asson.
Nice.
The ritual knife or kubasa.
That knife gives me the chills.
The ritual whip or fouet cash.
Wet cash, you say?
And the ritual coffin or seke madule. These items are often optional, called for by the Mama Loa for specific magical rituals. The Mama Loa is the most powerful figure in any voodoo sect. Voodoo is a truly matriarchal system. Even the Bokor knows his power is limited. The Mama Loa is the supreme woman. She butterflies, fireflies.
Come on, Gabriel.
Firelight.
What can you tell me about voodoo?
Gabriel?
What? I can't see.
Gabriel, get in.
Can't. It's too small for me.
You must get in, Gabriel.
It's not mine. Too small.
Hide, Gabriel, hide.
No, let me out. Help.
Young man, the lecture is over.
Oh my God, sorry.
That was a lore dump. I kind of love it, though. I like that the game is willing to really go deep on the lore like that. Let me save. And since Tom was kind enough to spend some bits slapping that on the screen, I guess I owe a jalapeno bean to the stream. We're in Bean Cam. Jalapeno. Yeah, still get the jalapeno flavor, but immune to the heat. So good. There we go. It's working. I've built up an immunity to some of the less spicy beans. Continued destruction of my taste buds complete. Graham, my tongue does physically hurt, though. This is like the worst jackass stunt ever. Not worst as in like most daring or terrible, but rather like just would not make good television. So I'm turning it into television anyway. Back to the game.
Gabriel scans the bulletin board. Greek night at the Alpha Psi Omega frat house. It looks like it took place sometime last spring.
Okay, there's another sub. So let's gather up all the beans we've tried so far. Oh no, I dropped a jelly bean. Okay, so we've got Carolina Reaper. Oops, let me get switched over here to Bean Cam. We've got Cayenne, Carolina Reaper, Sriracha, and jalapeno. Thank you so much for the sub. Oh no, the time is horrible. I'm not immune. Oh no. Oh, the ice is all frozen together. I have nothing. I have nothing at all. Oh, okay. Oh no. Okay. Habanero, the one bean that I haven't tried. Thank you again for the cheers and the subs. Oh no, they're the gift. Thank you so much, Eric. You're too kind. Now I've tried all the beans. I am on my last Carolina Reaper. This is a handful. This is starting to seem like a terrible idea. Okay, I'm going to do jalapeno, habanero, Carolina Reaper, sriracha. I can't be stopped. That's right. Y'all are enabling me, and you should be ashamed of yourselves. Oh, wow. Oh, my goodness. 5 more. Eric, oh my gosh. Thank you so much. Okay. Happy Wednesday, NC. Thank you so much. Wow. Okay. Before I can do this, I will follow through on this. I need to go get some more water. I can't jump in without it. So I'm going to go into intermission mode real quick, and I will be back in like 30 seconds with some water here. So I will be right back. Okay. I'm back. I have water again. I've survived, and I think I owe one more trip around the horn. We are out of my Carolina Reapers. So we will go with a habanero, a jalapeno, and a sriracha. Okay, my taste buds may be dead again. Thank you again so much for all the kind support. It is really awesome of you to hand out. Shut up, bot, in the chat. Don't tell them about the jelly beans anymore. Keep that under wraps. Thank you so much for all the kind support. This has been super fun so far. I did not expect this to go over at all. So let's switch back over here. I'm going to pop in my special bean display and take the Carolina Reaper out of rotation. I no longer have any of those left. I think there are only 4 in the bag to begin with, so no more Carolina Reaper. Now let's get back to the game. Thank you so much. Thank you for suffering through all this with me.
My name is Knight. Gabriel Knight.
Well, you have walked into my private office, Mr. Knight. I hope you have something worthwhile to do here. If you figure it out, let me know.
Mind if I pick your brain?
Not if it will get you out of my office.
What can you tell me about voodoo?
That's a handsome
You
professor.
already sat through my lecture on the subject, Mr. Knight. Perhaps next time you could stay awake and learn something.
I have said a variation of that before to a student.
What do you know about the voodoo murders?
I've read about them in the papers. I must admit to some interest. But according to the newspapers, the voodoo aspect is faked, so I haven't really pursued it. You know how Americans, especially Hollywood, treats voodoo. I'm sure there are many so-called practitioners out there that have no idea what they're doing or the power they're playing with.
Playing with power, eh?
What do you know about the voodoo murders?
As I said, I don't know.
What can you tell me about New Orleans?
I find it interesting to see the occasional fragment of voodoo practices in the everyday culture of New Orleans.
Do you have any idea what Cabri sans Coeur means?
Cabri sans Coeur? Yes, I do. It's a Haitian term, I believe. It's French, and literally translates as goat without horns.
As in a female goat?
No, as in a human sacrifice. Sacrifices in voodoo are usually of the animal variety. Chickens, bulls, goats. If the gods demand a goat without horns, it means a human being.
Excellent.
What was that translation? Tell me about bébés.
If you'd taken notes during my lecture, you wouldn't have to ask.
Oh, it me.
Tell me about bébés.
If you'd taken notes during my lecture, you wouldn't have to ask.
Tell me more about human sacrifice.
It's very rare. Most voodoo practices do not include human sacrifice as a matter of record, but it is theoretically possible if that's what the gods demand. For example, one of the chants I had translated for me from a Haitian ritual went like this. Mistress Azuli, come and aid us. If a cock is demanded, we will give it. If a bull will suffice, behold it. But if a goat without horns is required for sacrifice, oh, where will we find one? Azuli is the gentlest of Loa, so they call on her for mercy. But I have seen grown and powerful Hungan tremble before a possession by one of the more violent Loa, such as Papa Nebo. Clearly, they are afraid that something of the sort will be ordered, or that the Loa will simply take it for themselves.
What can you...
You already sat through my lecture on the subject.
What can you tell me of...
It's June 23rd, the feast day of St. John the Baptist. But June 23rd has been a sacred day since the earliest times. Ancient sun worshippers used to roll a flaming wheel down a hill to celebrate the sun's descent on that day.
A burning wheel? Huh. Have you ever heard of a Schottenjäger?
I'm afraid I can't help you there, Mr. Knight.
Wow, for some strange reason, my nose is running. Showing the Veve.
Can you tell me anything about this pattern?
Wow. Interesting. Very interesting. Mind if I copy this?
Be my guest.
Great. I'll be right back.
Oh no, it is two symptoms.
Here you go. You know, this is a fascinating Veve. You must tell me all about its origin.
Actually, I was hoping you'd tell me. Can you figure out anything about it from the symbols?
Well, some. That's why I wanted a copy. I want to research the design myself. Each of the symbols in the Veve represents something, a Loa, a place. Where did you get this?
Have you heard of the voodoo murders?
No, you're kidding. Really? Then the voodoo is authentic. The newspapers are wrong. Boy, are they wrong.
You think this Veve is authentic, then?
Authentic? Mr. Knight, that's like asking if the Mona Lisa is a painting. Tell you what, I'll look into these symbols myself and see what I can learn about the sect that made this. I'll give you a call when I have more information. You are associated with the police, aren't you?
Absolutely. But I'm, undercover. You can contact me at the St. George's bookshop in the quarter.
All right. Now, I'd like to get started on this if you don't mind.
Showing the murder photo. Yeah, I'm looking at this guy's office and I'm incredibly jealous. I'm a senior professor myself. And my office is just like a pasteboard box with no window and a replica Nuka-Cola machine in it. This seems much, much cooler.
Is there anything you can tell me about the voodoo aspects of this photograph?
This is serious voodoo ritual. Nasty stuff.
In what way?
Let's see. I can't make out much detail from this photograph. Except for the corpse, of course. But the wound, the face, and what little I can see of the ritual paraphernalia. Reminds me of certain black voodoo practices. Very rare. I've never witnessed them myself, you understand?
Really? Interesting. Thanks.
I believe now we can probably talk about black voodoo. Yeah, as far as how many fish I have in my office, I do have 2 packages of tuna in one of my drawers in case I ever have like a low blood sugar moment while I'm at work. So I'm going to say in the average pack of tuna, that's probably, I don't know, a few fish cut up, right? Surely that's not all sourced from a single fish. So I may have hundreds of fish in my office for all I know, but no living ones at the moment. And thanks to everyone who's just joined. I just noticed our viewership popped up a little bit. You're here
for a few more questions?
Gee, I'd love to.
You're here for the tail end of this this part of my Gabriel Knight playthrough, but we've been having fun tonight. We've been investigating the voodoo murders. I've been sampling these awful, awful jelly beans that will probably knock me out of commission for days, weeks, months, who knows. But it's been fun.
Tell me what you mean by black voodoo.
Well, like any religion, the beliefs can tend toward positive or negative ends. can be used for good or evil. Christianity, for example, has its doppelganger, Satanism. Any time you attempt to set up an icon to explain evil, you invite some warped mind to worship it. The same is true of voodoo. There are those who are drawn by and desire personal power from the darker, bloodier Loa.
Okay, I think that's all we need from him. I like this segment. I always like going to universities and video games.
Okay, thanks.
Goodbye.
This is, of course, Laura Bow's alma mater.
Gabriel scans the bullet. Greek night at the Alpha Psi Omega frat house. It looks like it took place sometime last spring.
That's very accurate. Our bulletin boards at my university usually have signage for events that happened 2 or 3 years ago.
Gabriel scans the bulletin board. There's a notice for a lecture on investigative reporting techniques to be given by octogenarian Pulitzer Prize winner Laura Bow Dorian. Unfortunately, it's weeks away. By that time, Gabriel will have to have learned on his own.
Alright, there's our Laura Bow reference. I love it. Laura Bow Dorian, of course, she marries her beloved Steve Dorian, a stevedore in Dagger of Amun-Ra.
The vase adds a nice touch. It's a picture of Christ. A crucifix adorns the wall.
Okay, let's steal a priest's
I
vestments.
can't resist black.
We also need to get the collar.
Well, you never know when a priest's collar will come in handy.
Yeah, I'm not sure where this ranks on the sin chart. I'm sure stealing from a church, and by extension a priest, can't be great. Maybe if you needed it for a really good reason, maybe that's the answer. Maybe because Gabriel is our righteous quest, his theft of these vestments isn't nearly the serious offense it would otherwise be. Okay, let's disguise ourselves while standing just outside.
All right, but this is private.
That's right, it's like the Blues Brothers, you know, we're on a mission from God. It works. I believe we have to slick back our hair, right? No one would believe a priest having floppy
The
hair.
things I do for my art.
There we go. Yeah. You're reading the Bible while you're doing it. That's true. It cancels everything out.
It would be better to be invited inside. It would be...
Yes? Who is it?
It's Father McLaughlin to see you.
Father McLaughlin, you say? You must be new in the parish. I'm so pleased to meet you, Father. Do come in.
Thank you, my child.
How can Tim Curry's Irish accent
Please
be worse
be
than
seated.
his
Thank you.
New Orleans?
What can I do for you?
Do you mind if I ask you a few questions, my child?
Of course not, mon père.
What can you tell me about voodoo?
People think I'm just a foolish old woman, but I know the things they do. My family's been in New Orleans since 1750, so I know more than most. Voodoo people are all over this city, in the shops, everywhere. They'll curse you like that, and most people don't even notice. Spit on your bread at the bakery. Take strands of your hair at the store when you try on the clothes. You have to be so careful. But I know their ways, so I can protect myself. I know how to use the magic too, and I can counteract their evil spells.
Great.
Do you have any idea what Cabri sans corps means?
Mais oui, I know. I bet you do not, Father, n'est-ce pas?
It means
don't eat the chili.
goat without horns.
Father, you surprise me. You do know what it means. You know what they mean by goat without horns, don't you? A human being.
Well, I just said.
Slit your throat, cut out your heart. Pure evil murder.
Do you know anything about human sacrifice here in New Orleans?
Well, my great-grandmother could tell stories. She saw it. People say that sort of thing wasn't done in New Orleans, but the real voodoo queens did it. Oh, yes.
Who were the real voodoo queens?
Well, my great-grandmother told me that Laveau was just a front, a flamboyant decoy. She distracted authorities from the real voodoo queen of New Orleans. It's been the same one for almost 200 years. She's head of a secret voodoo en fort. That's what they call their temples, you know. It's so secret, most of the voodoo people in the city don't even know about it. The real voodoo queen controlled Laveau, gave her a little bit of power, and used her like a puppet.
I really like that you can legitimately learn some stuff about voodoo. If nothing else, the terminology from this game. It reminds me a little bit of the Conquest series from Christy Marks, the Conquest of the Longbow, Conquest of Camelot, where the research that went into creating them really helped craft some informative games.
Is there anything else?
Well, my great-grandmother said that the real voodoo queen was the most beautiful woman on earth. She had the most incredible copper-colored skin.
Is there?
Well, they are all brides of Satan.
Yeah.
Other than that, I can't think of anything.
Tell me more about this secret voodoo hound four.
Well, I've never seen it. I wouldn't go near it if you paid me. But it's here in Orleans, I guarantee it. I hear the drums at night, oh yes. That's why I am so ill. I tell you, those drums. But we shouldn't talk about it. They'll hear us. It's the devil's work that happens there. I can tell you. I'll show you something. Something secret. You mustn't tell anyone, Father.
I swear on my collar.
Here it is, mon père. A true object of evil if there ever was one.
It radiates something, all right.
It belonged to my great-grandmother. She told my mother that it was a token to gain entrance to the real voodoo ceremonies.
You don't say.
To tell you the truth, I always felt nervous about having it in the house. You know, evil influence and all.
Oh, I can see how you would, yes.
And yet, I could never part with it. It's been in the family for generations. Would you bless it for me, Father? I feel strange asking such a thing of you, but surely you understand.
Hey, good night, Eric. Thank you again for all your kindness. Gifting all those subs was really awesome. I survived the jelly bean experience, so it's a win all around. This was really fun. Thank you again for joining us and for being so generous. Have a great night and take care.
Bless this bracelet of a snake, even though its vibes aren't great. Let it do nobody harm when they wear it on their arm. Voodoo spirits, go away, don't come back another day. And now, let us pray.
That's so good. Okay, so I need to take a clay impression of it, don't I? Which one of these icons is the clay? Is that it?
Gabriel is...
I think I picked up that clay days ago.
Gabriel has a thought about the clay.
Bless, oh bless this circlet of silver. Take the curse, oh take it, Wilbur.
A lovely blessing, mon père.
Yes, I think it made a lasting impression. Here you go.
I feel so much better now.
Hey, Thraknor. Yeah, the accents are just wonderful, aren't they? Okay, do I need to do anything else? I'm going to cheat and look at my walkthrough. I need to ask about the bracelet once more.
Do you mind if...
Bracelet on here.
Do you know any...
Oh, yes, father. It is the wickedest kind. The kind they practice here in New Orleans.
Tell me...
I already told...
Do you know...
Snakes! They're evil creatures. Did you know that evil people can send them into your dreams? They can. That's why I never sleep.
Right, thanks.
Madame Kazunu wouldn't be pleased about that.
Probably not, huh?
Well, madame, I must be going.
Of course, father. I know how busy you must be tending your...
I'm not going back on the street looking like this.
I love that he just strips there on her porch. Okay. We need to go to Grandma's house. See some people trickling into the stream. Thank you for joining. We're having fun. Playing Gabriel Knight.
My precious boy. How wonderful of you to stop by.
Eating spicy jelly beans.
And stay away from you, Gran.
Make yourself...
I love that they throw in little animations like Gabriel hugging his grandmother. It's charming. Doesn't feel like Sierra skimped on this game at all.
Can we...
Of course.
Didn't Granddad ever say...
Only that his family was crazy, and that he never wanted to see them again. He believed in some family curse, thought that he could spare Philip and Philip's children from what he called old nightmares. Whatever Harrison wanted to spare you, though, it cost him plenty. He never did sleep well, and he would often get a far-away, guilty look in his eyes. He was wrestling with something he thought he should be doing, someplace he thought he ought to be. I don't know how he could think that he should be anywhere but with me and our child. It's a terrible way to live.
Okay, I just noticed that Thraknor redeemed the sriracha jelly bean. We'll switch over to the jelly bean cam. We have the sriracha bean. So far, I don't know if this is Stockholm Syndrome or what. I've grown to enjoy the sriracha beans. They have that nice sweet heat that you expect from sriracha. So yeah, sriracha not so bad. Hey, there's Jim Walls over in the chat too, so it's good to see Jim making a cameo tonight. Let's switch back. Okay, back to our normal look here.
Do you know anyone named Wolfgang Ritter?
As I said, your granddad's surname was originally Ritter. I never learned much about his family, but from things he said, I always thought he had a brother back in Germany. I don't know if Wolfgang Ritter is related to your granddad or not.
Okay.
Well, Gran...
All right, dear.
It's a really good background, isn't it? I really dig the Napoleon house. Let's see if we look at this woman if Gabriel Knight says something offensive.
A young woman is enjoying drinks with her boyfriend.
Kinda cute. Nah.
Hello there.
Excuse me. I was talking to the lady.
And she was listening raptly, I'm sure.
Okay. Honestly, as far as most of Gabriel's interactions with women go, that wasn't so bad.
Could I ask you a few questions?
Sure. I'm not too busy at the moment.
What can you tell me about your regulars in here?
This crowd, the ones you see, are mostly regulars. That guy and girl in the corner come here a lot. When they're not fighting, they're all over each other. In other words, they're in love.
What can you tell me about your regulars in here?
See those old guys at the chess table? That's Sam and Marcus. They played every day for 20 years. Sam, the one with the purple jacket, he's lost every one of those games. It's not that he's a bad player. I've seen him beat guys twice as good as Marcus. But Marcus has Sam so psyched out, he loses his nerve every time.
Tell me about the street musician.
I like music as much as the next guy, but they get pretty monotonous sometimes, you know? Like that drummer right outside. They say there's been a drummer outside Napoleon House since the day it opened. I like drums, but this character really gets on my nerves. It sounds like the same thing over and over. I just want to say, enough already.
Sounds like my life. What can you tell me about voodoo?
Voodoo? I don't believe in it myself. I invented a drink once called Laveau's Tomb, but it wasn't very popular. Some people do believe, though. Even some of our regulars here at Napoleon House. That guy Sam, the chess player, oh, he's really into voodoo. He's always talking about spells and gree-gree and stuff.
Really? Great, thanks.
Okay. Is there anything else I need to ask him about? Let's cheat and look at the walkthrough.
So what has Sam told you about voodoo?
Well, about 50 years ago, Sam was too shy to talk to this pretty girl he was in love with. He went to a voodooine and had her make him a love charm. It was a little pouch that he had to bury under the girl's front porch. Well, he buried the pouch, and the next day, he went up and talked to the girl, and, sure enough, she didn't reject him. Now she's his wife. Poor guy.
Okay. So it sounds like we need to use some of our gambling gree on this guy. Which one of these is that?
The jar contains frou-frou hair gel. The small bottle is labeled Master Gambling Oil.
Okay, that's what we want.
Got a second, Sam? It's about your game.
I don't have a game. That's my problem. Don't you touch those chess pieces while I'm gone, you
bastard.
I ain't never needed to cheat yet, you loser.
What a great voice performance here.
Thought you might be interested in this gambling oil.
Let me see that. Master Gambling Oil. What's it for?
This is a powerful voodoo oil.
Ah, go on. Really?
This voodoo oil could make a nun get lucky.
Really? You think it really works, huh?
I'd stake my reputation as a novelist on it.
Cause using voodoo might not be fair.
Don't you ever wonder why Marcus wins every time?
Marcus? Using voodoo? That old bastard.
Pitiful, isn't it?
Let me see that bottle. Oh, this looks authentic.
Oh, it is.
If I could really beat that bastard. Stonewall, give me a Pim's cup, would you?
Coming up, Sam.
How much you think I'd have put in here?
Careful. You don't want to overdo it. Too much luck can be dangerous.
Ah, there's no such thing as too much. Now stand back.
Come on already. I'm ready to checkmate.
We'll see about that, Mr. Schmutty Big Mouth. Checkmate! Checkmate, you bastard!
Son of a bitch.
20 years I've been waiting to say that. Checkmate, checkmate, checkmate!
You are the biggest butthead Sam Singleton that I ever met.
Checkmate!
You...
I love this animation.
Aaron, just put this chessboard where the sun don't shine.
Hallelujah, I did it! Yippee!
Nice game.
Nice game. Hell, I was brilliant! Course, I gotta give some of the credit to that oil of yours. I've been losing to that guy for 20 years. If you ever need a favor, you come to Sam, you hear?
Will do. Can I ask...
Luke, I'd be glad to help you.
He's a goldsmith, eh?
Could you do anything with this?
What is this? A clay mold? Well, I am a jeweler, you know. And I owe you one. Would you like me to cast this for you?
If you can.
You got it, pal. Actually, it'll be a pleasure to get my tools out. First time in years. I've been too busy playing that goddamn game. I'll have the bracelet tomorrow. Meet me here.
Great, thanks.
All right.
It's getting late. Gabriel decides to go home for the day.
Excuse me. I'm going inside.
Oh, excuse me, I'm afraid St. George's is closed for the day.
I'm not a customer. I'm here to see the owner.
Why don't you just leave your name and number with me, and I'll tell him you stopped by.
Listen, if Gabriel is here, he'll want to see me. Is he here?
Really couldn't say for certain, but in the morning...
Gracie, say goodnight.
Ugh.
You came. I didn't think you would.
I didn't think I would either.
Your eyes. Oh, I could show you around a little. It's not much, but...
Please, don't. I couldn't focus on much of anything right now.
Yeah, I know. God, what is it about you?
Just shut up and kiss me.
We made it to day 4. Spoke to the one who smelled of death. He gave to me his ears. And crosses that were marked were made into a veil of tears. Up and out before the paperboy. Stupid sexy witch hunter.
You're not speaking to me this morning?
Don't be silly. I just have nothing to say.
Did you find out anything about that pattern I gave you?
Yeah, I did find something. I checked the microfiche at the public library. I found an article about a murder in 1810. The newspaper published a part of a pattern found around the body. It looks damn close.
You're incredible. All that work.
Forget it.
Have it your way.
Okay.
Have you noticed this guy outside the shop?
Yeah. He gives me the creeps. I wish he'd go away.
All right. I'm going to save there. And I think I'm going to have to wrap up for the evening. This has been really fun. We managed to go 2.5 hours. I survived all the bean eating. We got a lot of new subscribers. We got lots of bits pledged. This was super fun. I'm really enjoying Gabriel Knight. I'll be back next week with it. Definitely enjoy it some more. But thank you guys for watching along. This is awesome. So much beanery. I will say this is our last chance. If anyone wants to hit the bean cam one more time, now's your last chance to throw some bits this way, subs, all that sort of good stuff. But mostly, again, just glad you guys were here to play along with the game, to enjoy it with me, to share your thoughts over in the chat. If you enjoy these sorts of retro games, please feel free to follow. I always appreciate that. Tomorrow night, I'm going to be streaming the new Jackbox Party Pack. Party Pack 7 is coming out. Oh, wow. Tom, aka Satnav. Oh, thank you so much for the gifts. That is really kind. Thank you so much. But yeah, I'll be, that's awesome. I owe a bunch of jelly bean eatings now, don't I? I'll be streaming the new Jackbox Party Pack, playing along with viewers. If you want to stop by then, I would definitely appreciate having some people here to help me test out a whole new slate of games that are fun to play along on your phone or browser. No need to have a copy of the game yourself. So that's coming up. But Tom, aka Satnav, has just gifted some subs. I'm excited about a new Jackbox too. So that means I'm going to eat a handful of the beans. Which beans? I'm going to do 2 jalapeno. Oh, better go to bean cam. What am I thinking? Bean cam. Okay. So I'm going to do sriracha, 2 jalapenos, and a cayenne. This could be the last ones of the night. A little bit of heat there. Ooh. Oh. Okay, those caught up with me. I think the cayenne has a slow, sneaky burn to it, and adding that to the mix, the initial spice wasn't that bad, but by the end, wow. All right, well that probably is the music that sells it, right? The bean cam music. I think that is it for the night for me, though. Thank you guys again for all the support. This has been really fun and incredibly stupid, which, what more could you want, right? I will be back tomorrow night, as I said, with Jackbox, and back next week again with some more Gabriel Knight. In the meantime, thanks again for all the support. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for chatting. And I will see you next time.